Hello everybody, my name is Killed, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make basic leader stats inside of your Roblox experience. Now, you might be working on something that kind of requires some currency stats. Maybe you want to join into a game, be able to earn some money, and then you can use that money to buy different goods inside your game. Well, today I'm going to be showing you how to do that. It's a very easy, simple thing to do, and I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about this leader stat system. So if you do enjoy today's video, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see next, and I'll hopefully make it in my next video. Anyways, let's get on with today's video. Alrighty, so first and foremost, make sure you are inside of any sort of Roblox studio experience or world, whatever you want to call it. As long as you're in studio, you're good to go. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to first open up our Explore and our Properties tab. Now, you can find this by locating your Home tab if you're not already in it. If you are, find it, click on it, and inside of the Home tab, you're going to get a bunch of different options. But towards the right, you're going to see Explore and Properties. If you click on both of them, they should be appearing somewhere on your screen. Our Explorer window allows us to access anything and everything inside of our world, and our Properties allows us to change individual things about said objects that we can find inside our world. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go up into File, and we're going to Publish to Roblox. Now, you can name this whatever you want. If you already have this game already set up, that is cool. Go ahead and skip this part, but if you haven't already, make sure you name it to something of your choosing. It doesn't have to be this, but I'm going to say tutorial because this is a tutorial. I'm going to turn on team create and data sharing. Basically, team create allows for multiple people to work on the same world alongside of you in a server. But of course, because it's just me, we don't need it. And then data sharing is for data AI models that we don't give two rats asses about. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click publish, and it should say successfully published. You can click on done or the X in the top right corner. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go right back into file, and we're going to find experience settings. Let's go ahead and click on that. Now, inside of here, you're going to see a bunch of different things. It used to be a lot more, but for some reason, Roblox kind of dummied it down. But essentially, this is a more in-depth window of the things that you're going to need. Thankfully, at least, they have put the absolute most important things for the most part into the thing here, and then all of your additional settings can be found on the developer website, which is really weird. I don't know why they don't keep it in here, but that being beside the point, go into security, and what you're going to do is you're going to find enable studio access to API services. Now, if you click this on, we'll be able to do leader stats and stuff like that, and of course, in the next video, we'll be able to save these leader stats. So if you want to be able to save them, you got to make sure that your API services are turned on because it allows us to access services such as data stores. Go ahead and click on save. And then once you've done that, you are pretty much good to go. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go into your Explorer and you're going to find server script service. We're going to go ahead and insert a script, and we're going to call this script leader stats. You can name this whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but as long as you're happy with it, it is all good with me and hopefully yourself. When you've inserted a script, it'll automatically enter you into a script terminal, and it's going to have a print hello world. You can go ahead and remove that. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check to see if the player has joined the game. So to do this, what we can do is we can say game.players.playerAdded :connect function. We're going to add two new parentheses, and inside these parentheses, we're going to put player. And this is this specific argument that we have inside of here is going to be referencing the player, as you can see here. So we're going to go into the game.players service, which is this service right here, and we're going to check to see if a player has been added. And we're going to find that specific player that has joined the game. Obviously, once you're done with them, by the way, inside the two parentheses here, you're going to press enter. It's going to drop a line, and it's also going to close off the function with an end and a closed parenthesis. Now, essentially, anything that happens inside of this function will happen upon the player joining the game. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the leader stats folder that we need to store these values inside of. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do local leader stats equals instance.new parentheses, quotation marks inside this parentheses, folder. So essentially what this is going to do, it's going to create a new folder object, and it's going to be inside the game. We're going to drop a line and do leaderstats.name equals, and here's a very important part. And if you want it to appear in the player list whenever you join the game, you're going to want to make sure you name this leader stats folder the exact same way I am doing it, because if you don't, it's not going to appear in the player list and it's going to give you issues, and you don't want that. So make sure you are spelling leader stats in all lowercase as the name, just like that, Leaderstats. And you got to make sure it's all lowercase, because if anything is wrong inside of this word, it's not going to appear in your player list, and it's going to give you a hard time later. But now we're going to give the name Leaderstats to the folder that we are creating. And of course, we need to put it somewhere. Now, obviously, we don't want to put it just anywhere. We want it to be with the player. So what we can do, obviously drop a line, we can do leaderstats.parent equals player. So just as a recap, we're going to check to see if the player has joined the game and is inside of our player service inside of our game. We're going to find that specific player. When the player has joined the game, we are going to create a new folder. We're going to name this folder Leaderstats, and we're going to put this folder inside of the player instance that has joined into the game and is located inside of our player service up here in our Explorer. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a value. Now, you can do multiple values, but I'm just going to do a single value. So I'm going to do a cash value. So what we can do is something similar to our leader stats here. We can do local cash equals instance.new. And inside the parentheses, we're going to add quotation marks. Instead of doing a folder, we want to do an actual value. Now, there's a couple of values we can do. We can do an integer value and a number value. Technically, we can do a string value, but that accounts for all types of characters that are able to be pasted inside of the script terminal, and we don't want that. But essentially, an integer value is going to account for all whole full numbers. So as long as the number doesn't contain any sort of decimal point, it is going to be a whole number or an integer value. So for example, the cash value can never equal to like $5.87, because that is not a valid integer type, and it's going to round down to, I believe, 5. It will round down to $5 because it won't take anything after this decimal point. But if we were to do a number value, or what is also considered as a float value, essentially it's going to take every single number that's either a whole number or contains a decimal point. So instead of it rounding to just $5 because of the fact that we originally had it as an integer value, well, now because it's a number value, it's going to include the 0.87. So if you're wanting to have a more accurate cash value, I would recommend going with the number value. But in this case, we just want whole numbers. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. And we're just going to stick with an integer value. We're going to drop a line, and we're going to give it a name. So the cash value dot name will equal to cash. And make sure you don't have double equals, because double equals is checking to see if something is equal to, whereas a single equals is assigning something to that instance or object or whatever you want to call it. So make sure it's not a double equals. We're going to drop a line, and we're going to give it a value now. So cash.value, and this is basically going to be the default value that the player starts with upon them joining the game. So we could keep it at 0 cash. We can give them 100 cash when they join in. We can give them 5 million if we wanted to. But really, I think it would be smart to have it start at 0, because, I mean, anytime you go into a simulator game, you're going to start with $0. If you go into an RP game, it's likely you're going to start with $0. So we're going to start with $0. We're going to drop a line, and sort of like how we parented the leader stats folder to our player, instead of parenting it to the player, we want to store it inside of our leader stats folder. So what we can do is we can do cash.parent equals leader stats. Now again, if the cash value is not stored inside of our leader stats folder, it won't appear in the player list, because if it's stored inside the player, it's going to be stored inside of the player instance, and it's going to sit there, but it's going to not be able to show up in the player list because it's not a part of the leader stats. But if it is part of the leader stats, it will show, as long as you have named the leader stats folder correctly. So this is pretty much all you have to do technically. If you want to add more values, it's essentially just taking this, copying it down, changing the name to like gems, and then obviously changing this up, and there you go. You got a brand new value. That's all you have to do if you wanted to add more. But in this case, I'm just going to do 1 for now. But just as a recap, essentially, we're going to check to see if the player has joined the game by going into the game.players. We're going to see if a player has been added to the game, and we're going to reference that specific player. Obviously, when they join, we want to create a new folder, and we're going to send it to a local variable called Leaderstats, because this is going to be our Leaderstats folder. We're going to assign this new folder that has been created. We're going to assign the name Leaderstats to it in all lowercase. Got to make sure it's spelled the same way in all lowercase. We are going to store this leader stats folder inside of the player instance that had joined the game, because if we store it anywhere else, it's going to give us issues, number one, and number two, it's not going to appear inside of the player list upon us joining the game. We're then going to create a value, and this value is going to be our currency value, the entire point of this tutorial. And essentially, we're going to create a new integer value. We're going to name it cash, so we're going to be using cash in this case. Our default starting value is going to be set to 0, so everybody who has joined the game is going to start with $0. We're going to store this cash value inside of our leader stats, because again, if it's not stored inside the leader stats folder, it's not going to appear in the player list. So there you go. That's all you have to do. Let's go ahead and close out of the script, and we're going to go ahead and click play. Once we've joined in, we can go into our player list, and as you can see, people that are inside of the server's me killed, and we have a cash value of 0. Now, of course, you know, there's got to be a way for us to earn more cash. Now, how do we do that? Well, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. Like, we can just give ourselves the cash, but, you know, not everybody's going to have that same luxury anytime we're playing the game, right? If I were to go into a simulator, I can't just give myself every single best pet in the game. I can't give myself infinite cash or whatever. So we got to give ourselves a way to earn cash. Alrighty, so I just created a part that's going to give us 53 cash each time, and essentially whenever I click it, it's going to give us 53 cash, and the more times I click it, the higher the cash value is going to go. If you are curious of what the script looks like, just looks like this. Nothing too crazy. I could show you the part. This is the part that we care about. It's got a click detector inside of it. It's got a regular script, and we're just setting up a click detector mouse click function. And of course, because we need to check to see who clicked it, we can pass through a player argument. And essentially, if we're going to add any sort of extra values to our cash value, we want to do player.leaderstats, which is going to go into the player service here. We're going to do player, which is our player instance. So it's going to do player.leaderstats, which is this folder. So we're going to locate cash, which is here. And the value of the cash is going to go up by plus 53. So if we were to click this again, we now have 1,007 cash. So yeah, if you did learn anything in today's video, make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully this has helped you in some way. In the next video, I should, in theory, be showing you how to save these values to a data store. So if you're trying to come back for the next play session and you want to keep that 1,007 cash that you might have, right, you'll be able to access it the next time you join back. So if you want to see that, make sure you let me know, and I will probably make that video sometime soon. Hopefully it's a little bit sooner rather than later, but until then, I'm Killed, and I will see you in the next video.